Hello, everybody. Welcome to Yami Robots podcast, the place where we explore how one can benefit from the use of robotics in the hospitality industry. Today, I'm happy to have a talk with the CEO and founder of Smyze Robotics coffee project from Switzerland, Daniel Adamec. Hi, Daniel.
Hi, Eugene. Welcome to Zurich.
Thank you very much for finding your time to participate in Yami Robots podcast. That's my real pleasure to be here in Zurich, in Switzerland, talking to you about the story behind Smyze and absolutely talking about your vision and your feedback regarding the industry and where it's all going to and heading to.
Thank you. Welcome to Switzerland, Eugene. Happy to do that.
Daniel, you've been in the coffee robots business for 4 years already.
Correct. A little bit before that, but yes, 4 years the company exists.
To start with, can you recollect the moment how it all started, how you came up with that idea of finding the Smyze project?
Yeah, we wanted to actually bring robots close to the end user, to the customer, because most robots at that time were in production behind bars, and we wanted to create an exciting product that actually customers love. And we tested a first version and have invited a lot of people, and the feedback was very, very positive. And so we basically said, let's do that and let's create an automated robotic bar that is exciting, reliable, and really generates a lot of operational benefits.
So, Daniel, based on your experience, what is the key value that the robotic barista brings to the market?
Okay, so there's two elements to that. One is to the end user, to the customer that drinks the coffee or the drink, and the other one is to the partner that helps us operate and has the location. To the first one, for me, it's experience, excitement, but also efficiency. And at the end, he needs to really enjoy the drink that he has. So the real value is it's different, it's fast, and it's good. To the location partner, it's mostly about efficiency in operating the bar. What our bar does is basically the same as a fully complete drinks bar, not just a coffee bar, but a drinks bar. And we don't need obviously any staff to run it. It runs 24/7. It can run in different locations. And it's also quite flexible in terms of setting it up and running it.
As of now, in the market, there are more than 50, let's call commercial projects, manufacturers who claim to have multiple locations, claim to sell their equipment and be kind of active players. What is the reason why there is not a single one, maybe except for Beat, who can boast 100 or 1,000 locations as traditional coffee shops do?
I think it's still early. Most of these projects were started over the last 2-3 years. We started 4 years ago, and we're creating a new market segment because think about it, where is our product position? It's between a vending machine, which is boring and not very exciting, and a traditional coffee or drink shop. So we're kind of in the middle, and therefore every competitor, which we're actually welcome, is creating a new market segment. And that takes time. You need to actually convince specifically the location partners that this is a good product. The customers accept it. We have a lot of tests, a lot of customer surveys. The customer is not the issue. It's more the people that have access to good locations that you need to convince that there's a lot of value in it, so that they actually please the customer, but also generate the right economics around it.
You've been in the market for 4 years. How did the market change during those 4 years?
Well, I remember the first days where we actually actively were reaching out to potential partners that we thought they have a good location. Let's write them. Let's convince them. And we had to do that reach out, but it was difficult. It was, it took quite some time, no responses typically. And when I compare now, of course, we've become more professional. We get at least 10 requests a week for locations. And actually, we reject most of them because of different factors. So it has changed a lot from where we actually had to go out to now where potential partners come to us. So that's a big change and a very positive one.
What is the key bottleneck in adopting this technology?
Location. It's purely location. I mean, it might be different for different competitors, but we know our product works. We know customers love it. We know our drinks are very good, which we've been working on a lot. So the key is to find the right locations. And every company has a different model. We have a model where we continue to operate the bars together with a partner, because that aligns interests on both sides. And therefore, it takes time to convince them that the product is right and find the right partners. Lucky enough, we have now a few that we know we can scale with, but that takes time.
What is the right location or the ideal location for you?
Well, when you think a little bit out of the box, you can think about thousands of different locations, right? But at the end, there's a few factors that play into that. One factor is it needs to be, of course, have the right frequency of people walking by or being nearby. But it also has to be placed so that people walk up to it and see it because it's a new product. So they need to see it, they need to be excited. And from our perspective, they also need to have a little bit of time, even though it's at the end a takeaway product, but they still need to have a little bit of time to actually see it, test it, play around with it, and then order. So in that regard, the best locations are clearly museums, airports, train stations, other entertainment venues, in a limited amount, also shopping malls, and just places where people love to spend time, walk up to it, and are excited.
A partner for you is a landlord or somebody different?
Doesn't have to be a landlord, it just has to have access to the location. Typically, you have some large companies that operate food and beverage and hospitality venues. They have long-term contracts with a landlord, and they basically have the power to bring us in. That's the key thing at the end, and we need to find a good operating model with them, but it doesn't have to be the landlord, but can be the landlord.
What is the business model that Smyze operates on?
We have a model where we'd like to make it simple for our partner, but also profitable. So therefore, we don't sell the bar. Some of our competitors do. We continue to operate the bar under our name. The bar is in our ownership, but we share a big part of the revenues with the partner. The partner just has to provide the location and organize cleaning and refilling every day, which takes 20 to 30 minutes.
Although the robotic barista concept has been available in general in the market for more than 10 years already, we don't actually see big coffee chains like Starbucks or whoever being in the game, as well as we do not see big coffee equipment manufacturers like Thermoplan or whoever being in the game. How can you explain this?
Well, it's with every technological innovation. Typically, the large incumbent players take a long time to catch on new things. And what they do first is try to adapt a little bit their existing business model and concepts. And here comes something that's entirely new and different. So they will actually jump on the bandwagon when the time is right. It might be too late then. Somebody has established already a large franchise, but it's just a question of time because we know the product works with the customer, it works technically, and it is economical if it's in the right location. So, eventually it will happen.
Recently, Costa Coffee, who's been a co-owner, co-investor in BRIGGO project, announced, at least through its airport facilities in Austin, that they are rolling down the equipment, and as per officials of the airport, the project is to be terminated and closed. What kind of influence can it have on the industry? What kind of signal is that?
Well, we've seen many players opening and closing different locations. I have seen that machine that you're mentioning once, And yeah, I mean, I don't want to criticize things because I don't know all the background, but it just didn't generate a wow factor or excitement for me, you know. And that's what we're trying to do with our product. The customer has to be excited. It should not be just an improvement on the vending machine concept, or just a screen where you order and then things come out of some outlets. It has to be a true experience. And, you know, I don't see that as a negative signal. Again, as I said, we are creating a new market segment, and that takes time. And the more competitors playing that, the better. I don't have any issue. See, the big difference is, however, you can quickly do a prototype, looks fantastic. You put a few technical people together, write some software, find some location. You know, that's why many projects have been up and running. But to scale it and to make it truly reliable is a very different matter. And that's what we've been working on.
Good, Daniel. So you're talking about like the quality, right, that the robotic barista brings, but often one can see criticism from the others that when a robotic arm interacts with the full automatic coffee machine, it's not about the quality, but the quality is about a robotic arm interacting with the semi-automatic coffee machines. What can you say to this feedback?
I think modern fully automatic coffee machines generate very good quality. So what does the robot arm add to this? And again, for us, it's a certain entertainment factor, but also we can mix and match the product coming out of the coffee machine with products coming, you know, from our drink dispensing system, from different toppings that we can add to that. So we enrich actually what is just coming straight out of the coffee machine. That's a true add-on. You could do that without a robotic arm, but then you lose the entertainment factor.
So your project is based in Switzerland.
Mm-hmm.
Switzerland, although in general in the world it is known for banks, for cheese, for watches, for chocolate, I would say, being in the coffee industry, that Switzerland is known for its coffee equipment manufacturers like Franke, Thermoplan, Schreier, Eversys. Everything comes from Switzerland. Why is that?
Oh, I think the roots are in precise mechanical engineering, actually, from the watchmaking side, where you have a lot of precision in engineering, small components, and that's spelled over into other industries. For example, coffee machine industry, and you know, coffee machines, modern ones, have a lot of mechanical and electronic parts into that, and they need to work extremely reliably. The second aspect is obviously then the quality of Swiss engineering to do things right and make them reliable. So when you add these factors together, that helps. And of course, Switzerland is one of the main trading centers for coffee beans as well. So you add this all together and you have a good seeding ground for that industry. And that spills over into what we're doing. Switzerland is also a strong technology center in drones, in precision engineering, and we can actually benefit from that.
You're right. At the same time, Switzerland is known for being one of the most expensive countries in the world. What it takes to run a manufacturing hardware business here in Switzerland?
Well, as I said before, we want to deliver quality. That's why I decided to actually do also our manufacturing or assembly close to where our development people are and where the rest of the team is. I think Switzerland can compete in that regard if it's efficiently done. We have 3 people in production, that's all. And we produce quite a lot of bars now. So I don't need to scale the team to a very large size to create a cost disadvantage. Space is okay, you know, that's not so expensive. But well, I don't need to manufacture forever here. Now it's convenient because I'm close to development. We can adapt things, and it's not a huge cost factor yet. When we scale to hundreds of bars, of course, I will need different options, which we already have.
As of now, how many people you've got in your team?
The team is only 13 people. We have some outsourced staff as well, but the core team is 13, which actually is very similar to where we were when we started. So we haven't increased the team, but we've dramatically improved the product. We have many more locations. We're scaling much faster. So those are all efficiency gains.
How many units do you currently operate or deliver to the market or manufactured?
Well, currently commercially live are 9 bars in Switzerland and Germany. We'll be starting in the US in May with a few bars, and we're scaling this year quite considerably. So I expect over 20 bars to be live by the end of the year.
Amazing. So you mentioned US. Is US your prime market apart from Switzerland?
Well, basically, Europe is continues to be a focus. So we will be operating also in the Netherlands very soon. We'll scale in Germany and Switzerland. So that's the first priority. And yes, we are going to put a lot of emphasis on the US market where we have a good partner. We have signed contracts. We'll go live sometimes in May. So we will focus also on the US market.
From the point of view of certification, how it works with the Smyze?
Yeah, we have obviously a CE certificate for Europe, and we have gone through the certification process in the US, which was quite a long process. So we have an AMA certificate now, so we're fully certified in the US and can operate there. There is still some adaptations regarding electricity and current that we're doing, but basically we're ready for the US market.
From the point of view of competition, whom do you consider as competitors? Regular coffee shops, robotic barista projects, robotic food tech projects?
As I mentioned before, no, I don't see any of these as competitors because we're creating a new market, a market segment. Of course, in every location, there is potentially already a coffee shop, there's potentially already some vending machine. But when we go in, we actually create a new segment. We are in one location in Switzerland in a shopping mall where we're actually embedded in a coffee shop. And that coffee shop has been there successfully for a few years. In that situation, actually, the shopping mall operator wanted us in there. And the coffee shop owner was very reluctant because he said, well, you're going to steal customers from us. And we said, let's just try it and see how it works. And the reality is, we're not stealing any customers from that coffee shop. We have a different customer segment and it works for both. So that's why I don't look at competition like that. Of course, if there's a shopping mall where you already have 20 coffee shops, there's probably not enough room for a product.
Nowadays, there appear more and more players in the market, and those who roll out their equipment or their products, quite often they stay on the lower price segment, especially those projects originating from China. What kind of influence, from your point of view, they bring to the industry and to the market?
Well, I think actually cost is an important factor because obviously the product that we're producing and placing in the market is quite an expensive product. And the economics, when I run them for partners and for us, are highly dependent on the capex that actually is put into the project. So the more cheaper options I have, the better in terms of sourcing. And we are taking advantage of that. We are going to replace certain components that are very expensive with other components that I might source in China or somewhere else that help me reduce the capex. I think very, very low priced complete robotic baristas is a challenge for the operator, let's say in Europe, for example, because how much customer support are you getting? How reliable are these products? It takes time. You know, it has taken us time to get to an error rate of 0.5%. And that depends highly on error rates of all the components because one component doesn't work, most likely the whole product doesn't work. So cost is one factor, but quality is the other factor.
Nowadays, I'm getting quite some requests of people, businesses who want to enter the industry of coffee robots. I mean, who want to invest, buy, and run their business. And quite often I see that for those people in the market, they consider it as a kind of, part-time job. let's say I'm a
Mm-hmm.
software engineer. I've got my 50, 100, whatsoever K USD available, which I want to throw into some business. And it looks like I can put it into the coffee robots business, and it stands there and generating some cash for me. I'm looking for something cheap, and like with the wide menu, wide selection. That's a very typical approach
Mm-hmm.
in the market. Um, what's wrong about this approach?
If it works for that partner or for that person, it's okay. My view is just that it's a very complex product. The technical complexity is underestimated. And you need a partner that actually makes sure that your product runs all the time. Every day that you have some technical issues is lost revenues and a lot of headache, calling back and forth, getting some technical support. So if somebody has that project, he needs to think hard, am I going to buy cheap and then have trouble while I'm operating it? Or maybe I'll find another provider that has a different model, but make sure that the interest is aligned. That's why we don't sell our product. If I sell my product, yeah, I can make a nice margin on it, but where are the interests aligned? I sell it to you and then you do whatever you want with it. If I don't sell it to you and tell you we will basically share revenues, then we have the same interest. You want to make the revenues, I want to make the revenues. I make sure that the product runs. And if it has issues, you want to have a team behind that really solves that issue immediately.
So if I get it right, from your point of view, the right approach to handling the coffee robots business is to grow it together with a partner where both parties are interested in generating the revenue rather than selling the equipment and like providing
Correct.
only the
Correct.
warranty support.
Yeah. I mean, there's both business models in the market now, but our view is clearly we want to align interest between our partner and us. And the interest is reliability, attractiveness to the customer, and obviously revenues and profits.
Like it's not my first time that I interact with Smyze, for the first time offline and previously online. What I see in your approach to the market, me personally, I call it ethical robotic barista business. Not just throwing the equipment to the market and like do whatever you want to,
Yeah.
and would say that 99.9% don't know what to do with the equipment, although they claim they know. But like supporting the partner in making it into a viable business. But the backflip of that approach, from my point of view, is the tempo at which you can scale and the revenue that you can be generating. From the point of view of finance and investment, let's touch this space a little bit. You've been in the market for 4 years.
Yeah.
Who is the main investor in the project, and what is the total funds raised so far?
I think it's a bit tricky to disclose specific numbers, but we have a very stable investor. We're actually adding, as we speak now, an additional investor to our company. And we have actually invested quite a few million in getting where we are. Now we have a very mature product. Of course, we continue to innovate. Actually, by the end of the year, a new version will be coming out, but now it's scaling time. And we talked about partners and scaling. Yes, our model might be a little bit slower in scaling, but it's more sustainable. We want to build a sustainable business, and therefore we run it under our own brand, which also means certain brand building, which has value. We want to work with longer term, larger partners, not just a coffee shop around the corner, but actually partners that have access to multiple locations and we can scale with them. It takes a bit more time at the beginning, but once you're in there, you can scale much faster and easier.
You said that you grow your Smyze brand. Does it mean that you are not open to white label solutions?
No, we don't do white label, we can do co-branding.
Co-branding solutions. What about the ingredients and the fine tuning of the drinks?
We have invested a lot in making sure that the quality of what's delivered to the customer is very good. Our coffees are really barista quality. Our sodas and craft sodas and other drinks are very high quality. So basically, we try to make sure that even if a partner wants to change something, it's still the quality that is expected from the Smyze brand.
Yep.
So all the concentrates for the non-coffee drinks we deliver. We have standard beans, 100% Arabica, fair trade, that we propose. If the partner wants to use other beans, that is possible, but we need to oversee how the coffee machine is tuned and the quality that comes out of it. And then there's a few local sourced ingredients that are easy. Also the cups, the lids, the stirrers, everything comes from us, so that we ensure the quality that goes to the customer is consistent and basically fits to the Smyze brand.
As of now, you operate in what markets?
Germany and Switzerland.
China?
And China, yes. China is kind of a little bit a unique part, because we have a sister company in China that also operates on the Smyze brand. We share development, we share products. So we have actually advantage of being a European player, but at the same time also have a sister company in China that we can work with.
Do you see any differences in landlords or B2C customer adoption of the technology between China, Switzerland, and Germany?
I mean, certainly in China, there's more openness and there is less entrenched players in certain places. You know, in Europe, very many attractive venues and locations are monopolized by a few players that basically offer food and beverage and everything else. That is less the case in China, but also airports in China are difficult to get in. But of course, there is more openness, and it is a bit easier to get into locations that might actually not be monopolized by certain players. That's why it's way more important in Europe to work with some of these partners that have access to the location. And as a small company, it's impossible for us to find locations all around the world that will be suitable. So that's why we need to work with partners.
Some players in the market see that going and growing your business in locations like airports, which are quite limited in the market, is a bottleneck, rather than trying to grow the concepts and make it widespread in regular, like city surroundings and so on and so forth.
I see both. I mean, an airport is a good location for the concept because there's traffic, people want to have on the go products, and there's problems with the labor to actually man traditional coffee shops or other venues. So it fits very nicely into that segment. But I think for many players, it's difficult because, as I said, these airports are already have concessions that are outsourced to somebody operating multiple outlets there. So how do you get in there without partnering with them? Second issue is you need certain certifications. Airports are very strict on fire certificates for all the material that you have. So it's an additional hurdle to get in there. But our view is we're continuing on multiple channels. At the end, whether it's airport or not airport, I don't mind that much, as long as we have the location generate the traffic and the revenues in that location. That's why we'll also be launching a outdoor version later in the year, so that we can actually have a lot of flexibility.
Smyze, as of now, operates a fully automated, enclosed solution. At the same time, in the market, there are non-enclosed robotic coffee solutions, fully automated, standalone, as well as kind of hybrid formats where robotic coffee engine is integrated into a coffee shop environment with staff. How do you benchmark or rate these approaches?
Well, maybe I'm too much influenced by very high European labor cost, you know, and specifically in Switzerland, Germany, and similar countries. I think if I would have to have staff to operate or oversee the bar, it would kill the economics of the business. it could work in some niche solutions, part-time or whatever. But our concept has been from the beginning to basically make it unstaffed, unmanned, because of the cost aspect. And that I don't want to dilute that concept. In fact, we have been working on increasing reliability and reducing technical error rates so that I don't need people. Our bar needs, as I said, 20 to 30 minutes cleaning, refilling every day, and that's it. If I have a problem, all the bars are online, remote. I can fix 99% of the problems remote. So that's what we're working on. And all the other concepts, maybe they find some niche, it's okay. I don't mind. But when I look at it from my perspective, it would kill the economics.
Let's talk a bit about the technical and menu part of Smyze. So what kind of offering does Smyze bring to B2C customers?
To the end user.
Yeah. I mean the menu functionality.
Well, basically, at the end, he gets a drink. He would get a drink in a coffee bar. He would get it from a vending machine in a PET bottle. So what we need to deliver is a very good quality drink that's a little bit different than what you would get somewhere, coupled with the experience of ordering, customizing the product, and still getting it quite fast. So as I said, that's why the quality aspect is so important and the entertainment aspect is so important. If I have a very boring bar or a very boring vending machine, I don't get that experience. I can also get that PET bottle in the next supermarket. That's not a differentiator. My differentiator is that the product is better and unique, and that he has an experience in doing that while still getting it quite fast and taking it with you.
Do you provide any non-coffee drinks?
Yes, from the beginning, the concept has been focused on providing a big drink range so that we can cover the whole day. So we have quality coffees, very unique, can be combined with different drinks, but we also have non-coffee drinks so that, towards the evening, afternoon, and we have drinks for children. So currently we have about 40 types of drink offerings. Most of them are actually pretty unique, designed by us, and are very high quality, low sugar content, but very good in taste. And we continue to innovate. We do every few months, we actually change some of the drink offering because it's very easy for us to do. We test how well it goes. So we get direct feedback from the market. One aspect that we haven't touched on is the smartness of the bar. We talk a lot about the hardware, the robotic arm, but is the bar really smart? Meaning, can the bar recognize what the customer wants?
Yeah.
Can the bar recognize how many people are actually walking by and how many are ordering? And what information can I actually give my location partner about the bar? So that's been a big part also of our software and hardware work to make the bar really environmentally aware and be smart. And that's the next wave coming.
As of now, some robotic coffee solution manufacturers offer, apart from drinks, some food functionality.
Food.
Food.
Food. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Food and maybe
Yeah.
fruit.
Mhm.
How important is that offering for the concept?
We always get requests. Can you add some snacks or
Yeah.
food and whatever to the product? And basically, we've decided against it because it increases complexity of the product and the handling of the raw material dramatically. However, there are concepts that are focusing, robotic concepts that are focusing on food, like Good Bites in Germany and a few others. And I'm happy to actually collaborate with them because we can complement the drink part, they can complement the food part. But we as Swiss Smyze, we're not going that route. I'd rather add more functionality to our drinks, add some toppings, nuts, dried fruits, or other things that actually enrich the drink offering than going into true food.
I'm sure that Smyze is getting a lot of requests for collaboration, for partnering, for entering some other markets. How do you screen the incoming requests, and what are your top criteria to choose the right partners?
I mean, there's basically two or three criteria that are very important. One is, does the person that's contacting us to really have access to a good location? We get a lot of requests like, oh, I like your product, I'm going to go out and find a good location for it. We know that's not going to work, or it will take a very long time. So we discard that. The second one is we have an interest to work with somebody that has can help us with multiple locations. So that's another criteria. If it's a one-off location and it's very, very good, we might do it. But we have more interest in somebody that actually can get into more locations, because every partnership is a lot of work from us and from the partner to actually agree on things, get used to each other. So I'd rather do that once and then scale in multiple locations than all the time. And then there might be some exceptions where we think, this could be a flagship location. We are going to test it. We don't know whether it's going to work or not, but let's test it. And there's limited risk involved for the partner and for us. I mean, I can mention one at Volkswagen in their Autostadt. We didn't know would that location work. This is a place where people pick up their cars, and we didn't know, but actually it works very well. So we're very interested to work with them to expand that concept. So sometimes you have to test and try, but because the bar is in our ownership, the risk for the partner is very low.
Yeah.
So it's more my decision. Am I willing to take that risk and put it there? And if it doesn't work, I can take it back because I still own it.
Okay. So basically, your ideal partner is a landlord or somebody with the location, and the must-have requirement to make it fast and easy is to come with you with a very good location, which has a very high chance of scaling up.
Correct.
That is the ideal approach.
Correct. Yes.
That is the ideal approach. Yeah. Okay.
But other players might have different strategies. I mean, I'm just being very open based on experience, because we're not just a tech trial project. We are a commercial company that's scaling now. There's been a lot of investment in getting us where we are, and we're actually pretty committed to grow that and make it successful.
And what are the financial conditions a partner can expect when he comes to you with the perfect location? What is like the revenue, but percentage one can expect?
It's between 30% and 50% of the revenues, not the profits, of the revenues. The difference stems typically from the 30%, the partner doesn't have to make any investment, basically. Then we have to be very convinced it's a good location. He gets 30% of the revenues. He provides the space and does the cleaning, refilling every day. We do the rest. We deliver the raw materials. We make sure the bar runs, so it's basically trouble-free. The other one is a 50% revenue share. There he has to invest 40,000 as a buy-in or franchise fee and gets in return a higher revenue share. We have seen actually that partners are more and more willing to go for the second model because they see that there is traction in the market and they like our product.
Based on my experience, when partnering with the various players in the market, as long as a partner invests at least something, he's more involved into the result. When he comes with the zero investment, the involvement can be quite limited.
Yeah, that's it. That's why, as I said from the beginning, the alignment of interests is very important.
Yeah.
And we have also at the beginning done certain locations where there was just not a lot of commitment. That also means that the responsiveness, if there is an issue, is very low. The quality of the cleaning and refilling is not good. And that creates operational issues, which then again have an impact on us.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what we want to avoid. We talked a lot about the ethical quality aspect and aligning of interest between the location partner and us. And for me, that's a crucial element in this.
Exactly.
So we've touched on this quite a few times, and I encourage every potential partner that likes robotic bars to reach out and discuss and compare. I'm happy with more competitors because that enlarges that new market segment that we're doing. And some players might create a negative experience with certain parts and then come to us. So it's fine.
Usually during Yummy Robots podcast, I'm asking founders of various robotics projects to give a short message to those companies in the market or to those people in the market who consider entering this industry, either as an investor who wants to set up their own project, or as a customer who wants to operate, to buy, whatsoever, depending on the business model. So, what would be your message to this new businesses?
Well, as an investor, we do believe that this is a market segment that is not occupied yet by a single dominant or multiple dominant players. So if you're considering investing, do your homework and try to figure out who could be the future leaders in this market segment. Because there will be a few, but maybe not 50 as today.
Yeah.
And therefore, it's crucial to invest in the market leader that has the right product, mindset, strategy, team, everything else. For somebody who wants to operate and run the bar, I think they should really try to understand the complexity of the product. It looks simple, like a hardware box and everything is inside. Reality is there's a lot of components that can go wrong in there, and they will go wrong.
Correct.
So how do I actually make sure that I can operate that product trouble-free over a longer period of time?
Correct. Operations is important. It is important. So, Daniel, I want to thank you for this discussion. This is my pleasure to be here, to be meeting you in Zurich. And me personally, I love very much what Smyze is doing. For me, like being previously part of several projects, I always faced a challenge of meeting customers in the market who do not properly evaluate the complexity of the projects and consider robotic barista as a kind of ATM. That is, like you throw your money and you start getting it on a daily basis, which is not actually the case. And it is much more complex, challenging, but rewarding project if properly made. And I'm very happy to see that nowadays in the market there are few, and absolutely Smyze is among the leading ones who are growing the ethical robotic barista business, which brings the true value both to the B2C customers, to the landlords, and of course to the people behind that project. I know that it is very challenging, it is complex, there are too many factors around that, but I'm really grateful and happy that Smyze is using this approach in growing that business.
Thank you, Eugene, to recognize that. And you've seen many other projects and products, and it's great that you see the differences, because one thing is seeing the differences in technical aspects, what coffee machine they use, what robotic are. That's one aspect, but the other one is really trying to see what's the business model and what's the mindset of the company behind that. And we're very happy to have you here and that you see these differences.
I wish Smyze and the team behind it a lot of success, and hoping to see Smyze solutions scattered all over the world globally one day.
Thank you. That's our wish as well. And it all has to be profitable at the end.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.